Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. Over the years, I've acquired a bunch of orchestral sample libraries, and I'm sure I'm not alone there. There are so many great products to choose from, and each one offers a little something different. So in this video, I'd like to compare 6 different all-in-one or collections of orchestral libraries from 3 different companies: Vienna Symphonic Library, Orchestral Tools, and Spitfire Audio. The best way that I know how to compare these is to make mock-ups of the same orchestral work with each of these. But choosing a single piece really isn't fair because there's such a wide range of styles in orchestral music. So my plan is to make several videos like this one, and I'll choose a single excerpt for each video. I'm starting way back in the classical era for this video, and in subsequent videos in this series, I'll choose perhaps a late romantic work, maybe something impressionist or a 20th century work, and definitely some film music. My goal here isn't to declare a winner because I want you to decide for yourself what fits your own needs if you're in the market for a library based on what you hear in this video. The other thing I'll mention before getting started is that I've chosen full orchestral libraries only. So all-in-one packages like VSL Synchron Prime Edition or Orchestral Tools Berlin Orchestra or the BBCSO library from Spitfire, or in the case of a few of these, a full collection of different sections from the orchestra, like the full Synchron series from VSL or Orchestral Tools Berlin series. So the excerpt from this video is the first 50-some measures to Mozart's Overture to Don Giovanni. It features 2 flute parts, 2 oboes, 2 clarinets, 2 bassoons, 2 horns, 2 trumpets, a timpani part, and a full string section. So a fairly compact and small orchestra. I chose this because it not only sounds extremely classical, it features 2 tempos and will thus test these libraries in 2 different ways. In particular, I think fast détaché string writing is extremely tough for sample libraries, and often the best solution for recreating that sound is to use some version of a short or staccato note. Some libraries only offer 1 or 2 short note lengths, however, and in my opinion, at least in this genre of orchestral music, the single most important thing is having a variety of note length options. To give you a sense of this excerpt, I'll begin by playing through the piece in Dorico with Noteperformer. I'm not using the new Noteperformer engine, this is just the regular basic Noteperformer. So as you listen through this in each library, pay attention to a few things. First, the overall symphonic sound. How do the instruments blend together? Is the sound of the orchestra obviously synthetic, or does it sound good? By the way, other than some light reverb, I haven't done anything to any of these. No EQ, no additional effects. Also, listen for the consistency of sound as the excerpt moves from the slow minor first half to the very fast major section in the second half. Pay attention to the various accompanimental patterns in strings and to how well these samples deal with the varying note lengths as well as the détaché lines. I'll mostly hold off on giving my own thoughts about each one until I've made several of these videos with different mockups. But in the comments to this video, please let me know what you think of each one. Okay, we'll start with an all-in-one library. This is VSL's Synchron Prime Edition. It's their starter version of the complete Synchron series, and it is a lot more affordable than the full Synchron series. It features 2 of each woodwind and brass instrument, which helps out a lot in this particular piece, as there are 2 of each wind instrument, 2 horns, and 2 trumpets. It's a bit limited on articulations, but that's to be expected with a starter library. And I know this library well, of course, because it's integrated into my orchestration course. There's only 1 microphone mix, and it's probably the easiest of all of these libraries to program, at least for me. Oh, and I should add before starting this, for each mockup, I limited myself to about 2 hours total of work. Of course, I'm sure I could have made each one sound a little bit better, but I wanted to give each library about the same amount of time. Okay, here's VSL Synchron Prime Edition. Next is the Orchestral Tools Berlin Orchestra. Like the Synchron Prime Edition, this is a starter library and a condensed, more affordable version of their full Berlin series. It also features multiple winds and brass instruments, but a limited number of articulations and just 1 microphone position. So very similar to Synchron Prime, but a bit more expensive actually. Next up, Spitfire BBCSO. I'm using the professional version here, but I'm fairly certain that everything in this mockup would be the same with the core version, which is significantly cheaper. Unlike the previous two libraries, this features just a single soloist for each woodwind and brass instrument, and then an additional A3 patch for each. At times, it can be a bit tricky to switch between using solo patches and the A3 patches, hence the increased number of tracks here in Cubase. Next is Spitfire's Symphonic Orchestra. This is the updated version for Contact, and this is the most comprehensive library thus far in terms of articulations. I'm just using the tree microphone, and very little additional reverb is needed. This library also features only one solo and brass patch for each instrument, with A2 patches here instead of A3, so that fits this Mozart excerpt perfectly. It includes performance legato patches as well as full articulation patches, hence the increased number of total tracks. Okay, next is the complete Berlin series from Orchestral Tools. If you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know that I've used these samples quite a bit over the years. This collection features multiple unique flutes, oboes, clarinets, etc., which is one of the reasons I was originally drawn to this library. It also features a lot of articulations, though there are some consistency problems across different instruments, something that can be a little bit frustrating when working on a mockup like this one. It features several microphone positions, but I'm using primarily the tree plus ORTF for woodwinds only. And last but not least, the full Synchron series from VSL. I'm using Synchron Woodwinds, Synchron Brass, the timpani from Synchron Percussion 1, and then two different string libraries, Synchron Strings Pro and Synchron Duality Strings. You'll see where I make the switch from Strings Pro to Duality Strings. I think Duality Strings in particular is effective with the quicker, more agile second half of this excerpt, while the Strings Pro has a few more dynamic patches for the beginning section. I'm using mostly the Decatree and ambient microphones from the full version of their libraries to get more of the room sound. This library also features two of each wind and brass instrument and a lot of articulation options, plus a lot of different short note lengths as well, which is very convenient for this type of piece. Okay, so that's it. 6 different full orchestral libraries. I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments, as well as questions for me. Also, if there's a particular excerpt that you'd like me to mock up for another one of these videos, let me hear your ideas. So I hope this video was helpful. As always, you can grab the MIDI files for each version on my Patreon page. And also stay tuned for a sale on my orchestration course coming up next month. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.